The song drifted through Shadowfen Woods like smoke, wrapping around King Kalian's chest and pulling him forward. He'd been tracking a rogue pack when the melody found him, and now the wolf within clawed beneath his skin, desperate to reach its source. "Your Majesty, we should return before nightfall," Thane called. Kalian barely heard. For 3 years, fragments of this melody had haunted his dreams, always distant, always incomplete. Now it called to him fully, crystal clear and devastating. "Go back without me. The Thornspire ruins are forbidden. Not anymore." His primal side surged forward. He shifted mid-stride, clothes tearing as silver-white fur erupted across his body. On 4 legs, he raced toward the voice that had tormented him since his coronation. The sound grew stronger as he navigated ancient oaks and thorned underbrush. It wasn't just beautiful, it was raw power woven through music. His beast recognized something other, something that shouldn't exist in their world of fang and claw. Thornspire Tower rose from the mist like a skeletal finger. Kalian shifted back to human form, not caring about his nakedness as he circled the crumbling structure. Dark enchantment hummed in the air, meant to repel. But her voice cut through it all. He found the entrance behind black ivy. The door was locked with iron and silver etched with binding runes. Someone had gone to great lengths to keep whatever was inside from escaping. The singing stopped abruptly. His animal nature howled in protest, and before he could think, he was tearing at the door with supernatural strength. The metal shrieked. Runes flared blue, burning his hands, but he didn't stop. The door gave way. Inside was a single circular room, bare stone walls, no furniture, no comfort. Just darkness and a girl. She stood in the center, her back to him, utterly still. Auburn hair fell to her waist, the only color in the gray prison. She wore a threadbare dress too thin for the cold. "Who are you?" Her voice was the one from the song, but spoken. It held fear beneath its music. "Kalian." He stepped forward carefully. "I heard you." She turned, and his breath stopped. Perhaps 20 summers, with sharp cheekbones and translucent skin. But her eyes, they were luminous silver, gleaming like moonlight on water. "No one has ever heard my song before," she whispered. "No one has ever come." "How long have you been here?" Those moonlit eyes dropped. "Since I was 5 years old. 15 years of stone and silence." Rage ignited in his chest. "Who did this?" "I don't know. I remember nothing before the tower, just a woman's voice telling me to sing when the moon is full and never try to leave." "Why?" She held up scarred hands. Burns covered her palms and fingers. "The magic punishes me when I try." He crossed to her in 3 strides, taking her damaged hands. The moment their skin touched, power jolted through him. The wolf within roared in recognition, and her eyes flared brighter, pure light bleeding through. "What are you?" he breathed. "I don't know." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I don't even know my name." "She never told me." He pulled her against his chest. She trembled like a wounded bird, and his beast settled for the first time in 3 years, content in a way that terrified him. For a long moment they stood like that, 2 souls recognizing each other across impossible distance. He could feel her heartbeat against his chest, hear the quiet catch of her breathing. This connection between them felt ancient, inevitable, as if the universe had been conspiring to bring them together. "I need to call you something," he said softly. "May I give you a name?" She pulled back slightly, searching his face with those extraordinary eyes. "You would do that for me?" "If you'll let me." She nodded, barely breathing. "Sylvain," he murmured, from the old tongue, of the forest and song. "It means you belong to neither stone nor chains, but to wild, free things." "Sylvain," she repeated, testing it. A small smile touched her lips, the first he'd seen. I like it. Why did you come? She asked after a moment. Because you called me. He touched her cheek. And I'm going to free you. You can't. The enchantment will kill you. It's killed everyone who... She stopped. Everyone who what? Sometimes others came. When I was younger. People who heard fragments. They tried to free me. And the power. She closed her eyes. I watched them burn. So I stopped singing, except on the full moon when I have no choice. I'm not like them. I'm Moonborn, Alpha King of Valdrath. No sorcery will keep me from you. Moonborn? Confusion crossed her face. What's... Before he could answer, footsteps echoed outside. Multiple sets, approaching fast. Her face went white. The Guardians. You have to leave. Not without you. They'll kill you. He pulled her toward the door, but the moment she crossed the threshold, runes blazed. Sylvain screamed and collapsed. He caught her, but smoke rose from her skin where the spell had touched her. I told you, she gasped. I can't leave. I never can. The footsteps were close now. He could smell them. Moonborn, but their scent was twisted with dark power. I'll come back, he promised, lowering her inside. I swear on my crown I will free you. Don't. Forget you found me. Let me fade into the stones. He kissed her forehead. Never. Then he shifted and ran, hearing pursuit behind him. But one thought burned brighter than any magic. I found her. My beast found its mate. And nothing will keep me from claiming her. Kalian shifted back to human form at the forest's edge, body aching from the sprint. He'd barely escaped the corrupted guardians. He pulled on spare clothes from the hollow tree they used for border runs, then headed not toward Silverhaven, but west, to the one place he could find answers. Moonvale Grove lay deep in the western woods, where Thessaly the Wise kept her sanctuary. Dawn was breaking when he reached the cottage. Thessaly stood in her doorway, her knowing eyes telling him she'd expected this visit. You found the Songweaver? You knew? His voice came out as a growl. You knew she was there? I suspected. For 3 years, the dreams haunted you. I knew what it meant. She turned inside. But I didn't know if you'd survive finding her. She's been imprisoned since childhood. 15 years alone, not even knowing her name. His hands clenched. Who would do that to a child? What did she look like? Auburn hair, pale skin, and her eyes, silver, pure silver. The teacup slipped from Thessaly's fingers and shattered. You know something. Silver eyes are legend. The Songweavers were hunted to extinction 2 decades ago because their power threatened the balance between Moonborn and human. What power? Their songs could control minds, bend wills, but the silver-eyed ones were rarer. Their voices could reshape reality itself. She's not dangerous. She's your mate. I know. Thessaly's eyes softened. That makes this worse. His blood chilled. What do you mean? The binding wasn't just imprisonment, it was suppression. Keeping her dormant until she came of age. If I'm right about who imprisoned her, her 21st birthday is the deadline. Deadline for what? To complete the binding ritual. To claim her power. When? The next full moon. 3 days from now. He was already moving toward the door. Kalian, wait. If you claim her as mate before the binding breaks, the spell will see your bond as a threat. It could trigger her power prematurely. An untrained songweaver at full strength can level cities. Then I'll teach her control. His jaw set. I won't leave her in that tower. By sunset, he'd return to Thornspire. This time, he knocked. Silence. Then, Kalian? It's me. He placed his palm against the metal and let power flow. The lock clicked open. Sylvain stood in the center, exactly where he'd left her. She'd been crying. "You came back," she whispered. "I told you I would." He stepped inside with supplies, clothes, food, blankets. "I brought you things." She stared at the offerings as if they were made of starlight. "Why do you care?" "My beast knows you. From the moment I heard your song, something in me recognized you." He reached out slowly. She didn't retreat. His fingers found hers, and power sparked between them. This is why." "What is this?" "Among my people we call it the soul meld. Our souls recognize each other as mates." "Mates?" She said the word like it was foreign. "Partners. Bonded for life." He squeezed her hand. "But I won't force this. If you want me to leave, I will. Your choice, Sylvain." She was quiet for so long he thought she would send him away. Then, "Don't go. Please. I've been alone for so long, and you're the first person who's looked at me like I'm not a monster." "You're not a monster. You're extraordinary." They stayed like that as darkness fell. Then Sylvain tensed. "The moon is rising. I have to sing. I don't have a choice." Her voice rose, pure and powerful, and he felt his will begin to slip away. The wolf within whimpered, ready to obey. But beneath the compulsion, he felt her pain. He threw up mental walls. "Sylvain, fight it. You're stronger than this." Her voice faltered. "I can't stop it." "Then let me help." He crossed to her against the pressure. When he reached her, he took her face in his hands. "Look at me." Those luminous eyes locked with his. "You're not a prisoner of this magic. You're a song weaver. The power is yours. Claim it." Her voice rose again, but different now. Instead of mindless compulsion, he heard intention. The song wrapped around them both, exploring rather than attacking. Then the binding lashed back. Sylvain screamed as invisible force threw her into the wall. She hit hard, and blood bloomed on her temple. He caught her before she could fall. The tower pulsed with malevolent energy. "The binding doesn't want me to control it," she gasped. "Every time I try, it punishes me." His hands shook with rage. "This ends now." He didn't let her finish. His beast exploded outward, a partial shift, fangs and claws emerging. Then he sank his teeth into his own wrist and pressed the bleeding wound to her mouth. "Drink. My blood will start the soul meld. Bind you to me, give you my strength. The spell can't fight both of us." She held his gaze, then opened her mouth and drank. Power erupted between them. Silver and gold light intertwined. He felt her life force merge with his, her fear, her hope, her desperate loneliness. And beneath it all, a well of power so deep it staggered him. The binding screamed. The tower shook, stones cracking. But the soul meld held. Sylvain's eyes rolled back, and her voice rose again, not forced by the binding, but her power finally unleashed. His bones began to crack and reform. The partial shift became complete against his will. But it wasn't just transformation. His body was trying to remake itself to match the power flowing through him. "Too much," he gasped. But Sylvain wasn't listening. Her consciousness had turned inward, discovering the true depths of what she was. The tower exploded outward. Stone and magic shattered. He threw himself over Sylvain as debris rained down. When the dust cleared, they lay in rubble under open sky. Thornspire was gone, and Sylvain was unconscious in his arms, barely breathing. "No, stay with me. You're free now. Don't leave me." But she didn't wake. Behind him, footsteps. Thane emerged from the trees with 3 warriors. "Get Thessaly," Kalian commanded, lifting Sylvain carefully. "The binding is broken and the soul meld has begun." Then we're at war. Mordain will know. Kalian looked down at the girl in his arms. His beast purred contentedly despite the danger. She was his mate, and he would burn the world before he let anyone lock her away again. Sylvain woke to softness. After 15 years of cold stone, the bed felt like a dream. Her eyes opened to a cottage filled with hanging herbs. Dawn light filtered through windows. Easy, child. An elderly woman appeared. You've been unconscious for 2 days. 2 days? Where's Kalian? Outside, wearing a path in my garden. Thessaly offered her a cup. Drink. Pain radiated through her entire body, like her bones were vibrating wrong. What's happening to me? The soul meld. When Kalian gave you his blood, he initiated a bond deeper than marriage. Your souls are merging, but your body isn't moonborn. It doesn't know how to adapt. Before Thessaly could explain further, the door burst open. Kalian strode in, looking exhausted, but his gaze found Sylvain with relief flooding his features. You're awake. He crossed the room and knelt beside her, taking her hand carefully. The moment their skin touched, the pull between them intensified. She could feel him through the connection now. I'm here. She squeezed his fingers. I'll leave you two, Thessaly said, moving toward the door. But Kalian, she needs to know everything. When the healer had gone, Kalian sagged against the bed. I'm sorry. I initiated the soul meld without fully explaining. You saved me. The tower is gone. The binding is broken. For the first time since I was 5, I'm free. But at what cost? Your body is trying to change into something it was never meant to be. Tell me what's happening. He took a breath. The Moonborn, my people, we're shapeshifters. We take wolf form. When 2 Moonborn complete the soul meld, they share everything. But you're not Moonborn, Sylvain. You're a songweaver. Now your body is trying to become like mine, but you have your own power. The 2 magics are fighting inside you. He looked at their joined hands. Thessaly says if we can't stabilize it, it could kill you. She should have been terrified, but all she felt was rightness. The song I sang in the tower, the one that called to you for 3 years. I didn't know I was singing it. It happened in my dreams. His eyes widened. What? Every night I dreamed of running through forests, of howling at the moon, of you. I saw your face long before you found me. I think my soul was already reaching for yours. A knock interrupted them. Thane entered, expression grim. Your Majesty, we have a problem. Humans are gathering at Shadowfen's border. At least 50, armed. They felt the explosion. Kalian stood immediately. How many? More arriving every hour. Thane's gaze flicked to Sylvain. They're afraid. Of me, Sylvain said quietly. Then we get you somewhere safe. Silverhaven, my capital is protected by ancient wards. Thessaly returned. There's something else. I've been researching. The Silver Eyes mark you as the last of your kind. You're the Weaver Prime. You carry the collective power of all who came before. That's why Mordain imprisoned me. She's been siphoning your power for 15 years. Every full moon, the binding drew magic into her. She's stolen half your strength to make herself immortal. How much has she taken? Kalian's hands clenched. About half. When the soul meld completes and you access your full power, you'll be unstoppable. Or you'll destroy everything you touch. Commotion outside. Raised voices, clash of metal. Thane moved to the window. They've found us. The mob. And they have a Moonborn with them. One of Corvain's pack. Corvain? Kalian spat the name. He's staging a coup using fear of the Songweaver as his excuse. Sylvain pushed herself out of bed. I won't let people die because of me. You're not going to them. Kalian blocked her path. Then what? I can barely stand. So we run. He turned to Thessaly. Another way out? The healer nodded toward a tapestry. Through there. Tunnels to the river. You can reach Silverhaven by water. A voice called from outside, smooth and mocking. Open this door, Kalian. Give us the monster. Corvain. Kalian's eyes flashed gold. Get her to the tunnels. I'll hold them. You can't fight them alone, Sylvain protested. I'm an alpha king. Watch me. He cupped her face. Trust me one more time. Before she could argue, he kissed her, brief and fierce. Through the soul meld, she felt everything he couldn't say. When he pulled away, his eyes were fully beast now. Go. Now. Thane took her arm, half carrying her toward the tapestry. Behind them, she heard Kalian throw open the door, heard his command that rattled the windows. Through their bond, she felt him shift completely. Please don't die, she whispered into the dark tunnels. I just found you. The tunnels led to a hidden dock. Thane rowed upstream with powerful strokes. In the distance, sounds of fighting echoed. He'll be all right, Thane said, though worry tightened his voice. Suddenly, pain lanced through the soul meld. Sharp. Shocking. He's hurt. Thane, he's hurt badly. We can't go back. I don't care. Power rippled through her voice. The water churned. Turn around. Thane stared at her, recognizing what she was. His hands moved to the oars, but before they'd gone far, figures emerged from the forest on both banks. More moonborn, led by a man with cruel eyes. The king's new pet, Corvain said. How touching. Let us pass, Thane commanded. I don't think so. Kalian is occupied. While he's distracted, I'll claim his mate for myself. You can't force a soul meld. No, but I can kill Kalian and wait for the bond to break. His smile was all teeth. And I'm very persuasive. The beasts advanced into the water. Thane drew his sword, but they were outnumbered. Get down, Sylvain told him. She opened her mouth, and the song that emerged was primal, raw, the sound of 1,000 songweavers crying out in fury. The water responded, erupting in a massive wave that swept the beasts backward. But the song didn't stop. It built and built, pulling power from everything. Her consciousness expanded, touching every living thing within miles, and she could control them. The beasts stopped attacking. They stood frozen, minds held prisoner. Sylvain, stop! Thane's voice broke through. You're going to kill them. She wanted to stop, but the power had momentum, and she didn't know how to make it obey. Then, cutting through chaos, came Kalian's voice through the soul meld, anchoring her. Come back to me. You're not alone. Use my strength. Let me help you control it. She reached for him through the bond. His presence flooded through her. His training, his discipline, his alpha's authority. He poured it all into her, showing her how to leash power that wanted to run wild. The song changed, became controlled. Instead of destroying their minds, she reached in with precision and planted one command: sleep. One by one, Corvain's men collapsed into the water, unconscious but alive. Only Corvain remained standing. What are you? He whispered. I'm the last songweaver, and if you ever threaten Kalian again, I'll make you wish Mordain had found you first. Corvain turned and ran. Sylvain's legs gave out. Thane caught her. The king needs to see this. He already knows. I can feel him. He's coming. Minutes later, a massive silver-white beast burst from the tree line and dove into the water. He swam to the boat, then shifted back, naked and bleeding but alive. You use the soul meld to control the power, he said, pulling himself into the boat. You brilliant woman. They were going to kill you. They tried. His grin was fierce. but feeling them all drop unconscious while I was fighting was quite satisfying. "You're hurt." She touched a gash on his shoulder, and healing instinct made her hand glow with soft light. The wound began to close. He stared at her hand. "You can heal?" "Apparently." She looked at her glowing palm. "If this is half my power, what am I at full strength?" "Magnificent." He covered her hand with his. "And mine, if you'll have me. Be my queen, Sylvain. Rule Valdrath at my side." "I don't know how to be a queen." "Then we'll learn together." He kissed her gently. "What do you say?" Through the soul meld, she could feel his sincerity. And deep in her soul, something whispered, "Yes. Yes. I'll be your queen." Thane cleared his throat. "We should probably get to Silverhaven. And your majesty, you might want clothes." As they continued upstream toward the capital, Sylvain felt the soul meld pulse between them, growing stronger. Whatever came next, they would face it together. She was no longer the imprisoned girl. She was the Weaver Prime, mate to an Alpha King. But first, she had to survive long enough to learn how. Silverhaven rose from the hills like a crown of white stone. After 15 years in Grey Prison, the capital was a revelation of color and life. "Home," Kalian said softly. "What do you think?" "It's overwhelming. All these people. I can feel them, and I don't know how to block them out. The soul meld is opening your senses. You're feeling what I feel, the pack awareness." He helped her from the boat. "We need to get you to the castle. Thessaly should already be there." But as they started up the pier, a small figure detached from shadows. A girl, no more than 8, with tangled dark hair and eyes too old for her face. "You're the Songweaver," the child said. "Who are you?" Kalian moved protectively in front of Sylvain. "My name is Lunette. My mother was a Songweaver too, before they killed her. I've been waiting for you." Sylvain felt recognition pull in her chest. "You have the gift too." "A little. Not enough to matter." Lunette tilted her head. "But you have all of it." "Mother said the Weaver Prime would come, and everything would change." "When did your mother die?" 5 years ago. The hunters found us. They burned her while she sang." Lunette's hands clenched. She wouldn't stop singing, even when the fire took her. Horror and rage warred in Sylvain's chest. "I'm so sorry." "Don't be sorry. Get strong." Lunette touched Sylvain's cheek, and power sparked. "There are others like me. Hidden, scattered, afraid. Find them, teach them." Before Sylvain could respond, Lunette disappeared into the crowd. The castle was impressive. Halls lined with tapestries, chambers filled with soft furniture. Servants bowed as they passed. Thessaly met them in the royal chambers. "The transformation is accelerating. The silver is getting brighter." "What does that mean?" "The soul meld is forcing your body to adapt faster than expected. You'll complete transformation within a day. Thessaly mixed something in a bowl." "Good news. You'll survive." "Bad news. It's going to be excruciating. Your body isn't just becoming moonborn. It's creating something new. A hybrid. There's no precedent." She handed Sylvain the bowl. "Drink. It won't stop the pain, but it will keep you conscious. You'll need to guide the transformation." Sylvain drank the bitter mixture. Almost immediately, warmth spread through her veins, and the ache intensified into stabbing pain. "It's starting," Thessaly said. "Kalian, stay with her. Your presence will anchor her." "I'm not leaving." He pulled Sylvain into his arms as her legs buckled. "I've got you." The pain built in waves. Sylvain felt her bones cracking and reforming. But worse was the mental assault. Every time a wave hit, her power surged, and she could hear thoughts of everyone in the castle. "Focus on me," Kalian commanded. Just me. She clutched at him, using their bond as a lifeline. Through the soul meld, she could feel his beast's nature, the discipline that kept chaos at bay. She tried to copy it. It was like catching water with bare hands. I can't. My power doesn't work like yours. Then make new rules. You're the Weaver Prime. If anyone can reshape magic, it's you. Hours passed in agony. Kalian held her through it, and slowly she began to understand. Her magic wasn't wild, it was infinite. It didn't follow rules because it was the source of rules. Trying to contain it was futile. She needed to become its vessel. The moment she stopped fighting and started accepting, everything changed. Her body shifted, but not into beast form. She became fluid, ephemeral, more song than flesh. Stay with me. Kalian's voice turned desperate. Don't let go. Come back. She reached for him through the soul meld, and his beast nature pulled her back into solidity. But when her body reformed, it was different. Stronger. Faster. Her senses so sharp she could hear heartbeats 3 floors below. When she opened her eyes, the world looked different. She could see magic now, golden threads connecting all living things, and the thickest thread connected her to Kalian. It's done, Thessaly whispered in awe. Sylvain looked at her hands. They glowed faintly. I feel like I could sing down the stars, like I'm finally alive. Welcome to being moonborn. He pulled her into an embrace, but their moment shattered when Thane burst in. Mordain is at the gates. She's demanding you return what belongs to her, and she has captives, Songweaver children, at least a dozen. She says if you don't give her the Weaver Prime, she'll kill them all. The room went silent. She's not bluffing, Sylvain said. I can feel them. Their fear. You're not going to her, Kalian said flatly. I know, but I'm not the helpless girl she imprisoned anymore. I'm the Weaver Prime, fully awakened. It's time Mordain learned what that means. This is suicide. She's had 15 years to prepare. Then the fight will be fair. Because now I have the other half. She started toward the door, but Kalian caught her arm. Not alone. Together, or not at all. Together. His voice held alpha command. Where you go, I go. Through the soul meld, she felt his absolute determination. Together, she agreed. They descended to the courtyard. Through the iron gates, Sylvain could see Mordain for the first time in years. Her former captor was beautiful and terrible, dark hair falling like a waterfall, eyes like ice. She wore robes shimmering with stolen magic. At her feet knelt a dozen children, bound and gagged. Kalian, Mordain's voice carried easily, I've come to collect what's mine. Sylvain belongs to no one, Kalian called back. Oh, but she does. I spent 15 years cultivating her power. She's my creation. Now that she's awakened, I'll take what I'm owed. You want my power? Sylvain stepped forward. Then come and take it. She began to sing. The song that poured from her throat was pure crystalline truth, resonating with something deep in earth, in sky, in reality itself. The gates shattered. Bonds on children dissolved. Mordain's army dropped to their knees, their stolen power unraveling. Impossible, Mordain breathed, staggering back. You're wrong. I don't need to master anything. This power isn't separate from me. It is me. You never understood that. That's why you could only steal it, never wield it. Mordain threw out her hands. Darkness erupted. All the magic she'd stolen. It crashed against Sylvain's song like a wave against a cliff. Then Sylvain simply sang louder. The darkness shattered. Mordain's stolen magic fled back to its source. And Sylvain saw her former captor for what she was. A scared woman who'd thought she could cheat death. I could destroy you, Sylvain said, but I won't. Then you're a fool, Mordain spat. No, I'm merciful. But if you ever come near these children again, if you ever try to cage another songweaver, I will hunt you down. Do you understand? Mordain nodded, and Sylvain let her go, watched her stumble away. The children ran to Sylvain, sobbing. And as she knelt to embrace them, she felt Calian's presence at her back. That's my queen, he murmured. 7 days after Mordain's defeat, Sylvain stood on the balcony watching sunset paint the sky. 7 days of learning to control her power, of training rescued children, of understanding what it meant to be a queen, and 7 days of falling deeper in love with the king who'd freed her. You're thinking too hard, Calian said, wrapping his arms around her waist. What's troubling you? I'm not troubled. I'm happy. And I don't know what to do with that. What do you mean? For 15 years, all I knew was survival. I never let myself imagine more. She turned in his arms. But now I have more. Freedom, power, purpose. You. And it's overwhelming. Good overwhelming or bad? Good. But also terrifying. Then we learn together. That's what mates do. He brushed hair from her face. There's something I need to ask. The court is demanding a formal mating ceremony. They want to see the soul meld completed publicly. Is that necessary? Among Moonborn, yes. The mating bite must be witnessed to be legitimate. He hesitated. It will mean I bite you again, in front of everyone. And you'll need to bite me back. I'm not that helpless girl anymore. I'm strong enough. You're sure? She pulled him closer. I've never been more sure. Then we'll do it tonight. Under the full moon. His eyes gleamed. Fair warning, the ceremony is intense. I figured, Thessaly explained. Did she? His grin turned wicked. And I think I can handle it. In fact, I'm looking forward to it. His pupils dilated. Careful. If you keep looking at me like that, we won't make it to the ceremony. Would that be so terrible? Yes, because Thane would kill me. But he kissed her anyway. A knock interrupted. Your Majesties, the court is assembled. Sylvain took a breath. Ready? With you? Always. They descended to the great hall. The entire court had gathered. At the center stood an ancient altar, carved with symbols glowing with moonlight. As they entered, every person knelt. Thessaly waited at the altar in ceremonial robes. The old ways demand we witness the completion of the soul meld. King Calian has chosen his mate. Now they will seal their bond before the pack, before the gods, before the moon itself. Calian led Sylvain to the altar. In silver moonlight, his eyes gleamed gold. Sylvain of the Songweavers, will you accept my bite, my bond, my life as yours? I will. And will you return it? Claiming me as I claim you? I will. His hand moved to the clasp of her gown, slowly drawing fabric from her shoulder, baring her neck. The court watched in silence as he leaned close. Last chance to run, he whispered. Never. I'm yours, Calian. Completely. His teeth sank into her neck, and power exploded between them. This time, Sylvain was ready. She embraced the surge, let it flow through her and into him, let their souls truly merge until she couldn't tell where she ended and he began. Through the bond, she felt everything. His love, fierce and absolute. His determination to protect her. His joy at finally having found his mate. And beneath it all, his beast howling in triumph. When he released her, blood stained his lips, eyes glowing gold. Your turn, my queen. Sylvain pulled him close, fisting one hand in his hair. She could feel her song-weaver nature rise, power intertwining with his beast magic. She let her teeth elongate. not beast fangs, but something uniquely hers, and sank them into where his neck met shoulder. The taste of his blood was copper and moonlight and wild things. And as she bit down, she sang, a wordless melody that carried her claim, her acceptance, her certainty that they were meant for this. The soul meld snapped fully into place. She felt their minds merge completely, barriers dissolving until they were one being in two bodies. She could feel his beast's satisfaction, could sense his thoughts as clearly as her own. When she released him, the hall erupted in howls of celebration. The Moonborn recognized the completed bond. Kalian pulled her against him, forehead pressed to hers. Mine, he growled. Yours. And you're mine. Always. They sealed the bond with a kiss that made the court cheer, and Sylvain felt joy so pure it brought tears. She was no longer the imprisoned girl singing to stone walls. She was mated, loved, free. She was home. 3 months later, Sylvain stood in the newly built Songweaver Academy, watching Lunette and the other children practice harmonies. The girl who'd approached her at the docks had become her first student. They're getting stronger, Kalian said, coming to stand beside her. They are. Soon they'll be ready to use their gifts openly. She leaned against him. We've given them what I never had. A safe place to learn. You've given them that. I just provided the building. You provided protection. The royal decree that made it illegal to hunt songweavers. You changed the world for us. We changed it together. That's what mates do. Thane entered, expression urgent. Refugees from the northern territories, Moonborn fleeing some kind of plague affecting only shifters. Sylvain and Kalian exchanged glances. That's not natural, she said. Call the council, Kalian said. Wait. Sylvain placed a hand on his arm. Let me try something. Maybe my power can help. What's the point of all this if I can't use it? Kalian was quiet, then nodded. Together then. Always together. They left hand in hand. The future stretched before them, more threats, more challenges, more enemies. But they would face it all united by the soul meld, strengthened by their bond. As they walked through Silverhaven streets, people bowed and called blessings. The same people who had feared her 3 months ago now saw her as their protector. And the Songweaver children, who had been hiding now, sang openly. That night, as Sylvain lay in Kalian's arms beneath the full moon, she finally believed it was real. What are you thinking? He murmured. That I'm the luckiest person alive. That I went from a tower prison to a throne, from silence to song, from alone to this. The feeling is mutual. He tightened his arms around her. Though you've made ruling complicated. Now I have to consider not just beast politics, but Songweaver concerns, interspecies relations. Poor Alpha King. Whatever will you do? Probably delegate to my brilliant queen and focus on important things. Like making sure you're happy, making sure our people are safe, and eventually, making sure our children grow up in a world where no one has to hide what they are. Children? Her breath caught. Someday. When you're ready. His hand rested on her stomach. Half Moonborn, half Songweaver children who will be more powerful than anything this world has seen. Terrifying thought. Wonderful thought. He kissed her deeply. Though we should probably master ruling before we add parenthood. They fell silent, content. And in the distance came the sound of the children's evening chorus. Their voices wove together, telling the story of a girl who'd been locked away since childhood, and the Alpha King who'd followed her song to freedom. It was a story of love and magic, of transformation and acceptance. But more than that, it was a promise that no one would be imprisoned for their gifts again, that different kinds of power could coexist, that love could bridge the widest divides. Sylvain smiled and added her voice to the song, letting her power flow free and joyful. And Kalian's beast howled in harmony, alpha and queen, beast and songweaver, bound by love that would reshape their world. Together, they would face whatever came next. Together, they were unstoppable. Together, they were home.